Okay, we are live on YouTube. We're recording and our participants are getting in. All right, welcome everyone. We'll get started in just a minute. In case anybody is calling in. All right, I think we have everyone also. So we welcome everyone to our October 13th agenda meeting. We will get started. Pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10-4-10, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertising such notice in the Home News Tribune, the Asbury Park Press, the Board Office, the schools, and on Cablevision, Channel 118, and on Vios, Channel 24, and by filing such notice with the Township Clerk. This meeting was scheduled for Tuesday, October 13th, 2020. The board will take formal action on payment of bills and other agenda items. Mr. Mara, please.
Thank you, Ms. Ellis Foster. The Old Bridge Township Board of Education acknowledges that the law of this state establishes that members of the public, including members of the board, have the right to record public board meetings using audio or video recording devices, provided that that act of recording does not interfere with the business of this public board meeting. Therefore, the board makes it known that any such recording is to be considered a private recording of the individual and in no manner represents the official record of this board. The board therefore takes no responsibility for such private recording and completely disavows any future use.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ms. Burns,
Here.
Ms. Callie,
Here.
Ms. DeCaro, Mr. DePrima,
Here.
Mr. Dunn,
Here.
Mr. Giordano,
Here.
Ms. Lent,
Here.
Mr. Silikowski,
Here.
Ms. Ellis Foster.
Here.
Quorum exists.
Mr. Mara, I see Mrs. DeCaro getting on right now. She's just there. She just connected her audio.
Sorry, I'm late.
That's okay.
Okay, Ms. DeCaro,
Here.
got it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. All right. So if we can all, we'll begin. If we can stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to the flag
The flag
of the
of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great, thank you. Thank you for everyone joining today. Let me just get our agenda up. All right, so we'll just start going through. Right now we have nothing, fortunately, for an acknowledgement. Can I ask one of the board members if you would like to take the Code of Ethics Corner for next week?
Do it.
Okay, Mrs. Kara, thank you very much.
Wait, am I muted? No, I'm good.
No.
Kelly, I just have a question. Are we going to add to that memoriam the former board member?
Yeah, just send the email to Joanne and then she'll add it there if it's appropriate. So
Did he pass? Because as of yesterday, he didn't.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
think.
I'm sorry. I misread
That
what you
can't be
I misread what you
premature,
said, Sal. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
My bad.
We
That would be
got to be
bad.
careful with that.
Okay.
I'm
Uh,
sure since we all pretty much know and we'll find out for sure.
Okay. All right. We will have the approval of the minutes. Everyone should have received those. We will once again ask Dan, the student representative, to attend the meeting. We'll try to get him on Zoom this time. We'll work out any kind of a glitch if we haven't. We've got a recognition next week, which is great. So we will do that with Sean Bannon, who's an Eagle Scout. So let me do that. And I will now turn it over to Mr. Cittadino. Do you have any updates or anything you want to give? Previews?
Well, obviously, we're excited about the our first cohort of students came in for our kindergarten, pre-K, and self-contained, and it was a very, aside from the monsoon of weather we were having that day, I want to thank our families, our students, our educators that were there, security, everything. Our administrators did a great job working towards the procedures that we've been putting in place for months now, and having a pretty seamless beginning to it. It allowed us to do a walkthrough of the procedures, and now we'll be expanding it in future weeks. So on Wednesday, we'll have cohort 2. On Friday, cohort 3 will come in from the same group of pre-K, kindergarten, and self-contained. And then with everything going along according to schedule, unless there's any changes in the community spread, we'll be looking towards on the 19th, inviting our first grade, second grade, and third grade to join us. And at that time next week, I'll have a whole week's worth of students coming back, and the next cohort of the return phase for the early grades of elementary. So I'll give you a great detailed report about how that process is going. Tomorrow, we're also having voluntary COVID testing for our staff here at the Old Bridge High School campus. Synergy Labs will be doing it, and they're a local company. It works out well. They'll give us a quicker turnaround because they use their own laboratories. They don't send it out to another lab to do that work. And I also know that tomorrow we're going to be meeting, I believe it's 2:30 for our reentry task force, just to go over what we had this week. What were some of the things and concerns that have come up through either parent input and asking us to revisit a few of the things within our reentry plan, and we'll be doing that at 2:30, and hopefully any changes that would come from that or any progress towards that, we'll go home in a weekend update to our staff and parents, most likely on Friday evening. So a lot of good information to look forward to, and we anticipate everyone working together cooperatively as we have had in the collaboration to bring our students back into our classrooms. And, from being in many of the schools on Monday, the staff did a great job, and they were also excited to see students back in the classrooms again. So it was very nice to be part of.
Great, thank you. I'm not sure if we have any progress towards goals, any correspondence. I'm not sure. I don't think we'll have any special committee reports. So now we will open to hearing of the residents. Just a reminder, this will be on agenda items only.
I just want to,
Yeah.
What did I say about the reentry date? If I didn't say Thursday, it's Thursday at 2:30. I don't know if I said.
Okay.
Okay.
Thursday at 2:30. Okay. Thank you. So the public comment portion is for anything on the agenda. A reminder, we will have another one at the end for any topic. If you would like to have a comment on anything on the agenda, if you're on Zoom, if you just raise your hand. If you're calling in, just hit *9 and I can unmute you. So let me just check. I don't see anybody right now. I'll give it just one more minute in case anybody's calling in. Okay, so I don't see anything for agenda items. So we will close that portion and we'll be opening it up again at the end. So we will move on to policy, which is a first reading. And this is just some of the revised policy committees we did just to make them a little bit more current to what we're working on. The one thing I would just say to board members, anybody either on any chair of a committee, I don't think we have to wait for the formal passing because it takes 2 months to actually start a committee meeting. If you have anything, if you're a liaison on any group, you don't have to wait for November to reach out to that group or if you want to schedule a meeting. So I think the changes are very minimal, mostly around name, not how we function as committees. So I think it would be okay to schedule any meeting, anytime that, is that correct, Mr. Parton?
Yes, it is. You can proceed under the new procedures.
Thank you.
Since the buildings are open, can we use the building for a meeting or not yet? Anybody? Mr. Cittadino or Mr. Parton? Kelly?
Legally, you can. You're capped at 25 people, depending on the room, no more than 25 people, no matter what the room. As far as the access to facilities, I would defer to Dave, Kathy, and Joe on that.
Yeah, and
Smart answer.
remembering social distancing you have to have with it too.
Yeah.
Well, we can have a meeting, right? I think, it's time. The board can,
Well,
be-
I was asking about committees too.
yeah. If it's 25 people, you have enough space in the administration boardroom to have
Keep
meetings.
us all 6 feet apart.
Sure, absolutely.
We're capped at 25 people, then we still have to Zoom it because wouldn't that violate the open public act?
We can still
Yeah.
Zoom it, but,
If you,
I think
if
we
you
need
met
to
in
show
person,
some
you'd
sense
still
of
have to-
normalcy. Getting back, if we got back into session,
I believe there's a stipulation in there on the size of the room, okay? I'm in a collectible show and I run one over here in Old Bridge and we have approximately, the room is 50 by 100, so that's 5,000 square feet. We can't have any more than 25 people in a room. I also am involved in a show up in North Jersey where they have a big auditorium. They won't let more than 25 people in there.
Yeah, that's what the governor's
do it
current
out now.
executive
Go
order
ahead.
said.
right. But we're not
Just
25
back to
people, so we
25.
can Zoom it. We can have our meeting in person to show some, normalcy. There's 10 of us, 9 of us, plus, the professionals and the administration. We're not going to exceed 25.
I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Well, if you're going to have the camera and the crew and the students there doing one, I don't know if the students will be able to do it under our current, because it's part of the school day for them. It's a school work requirement. So I don't know if we would have them back because they're not back for indoor classes yet. So counting them or not, we probably have to have Steve and Sue there. So with that, you're probably around 18 people. They're really, you're talking, probably about having 7 people. For the
Well,
public.
let's set a date. Let's set a date.
Yeah,
for-
I'm in favor.
All right, so I saw Mrs. Burns was trying to say something.
Go ahead.
It's okay. But if we have a committee meeting, then we also have to Zoom it, is what I'm asking.
Yep.
Well, we don't usually televise committee meetings. That's why I was asking.
Right. Committee meetings are open to the public, so there has to
Committee
be
meetings
public
are just,
access.
Right, we can give Zoom. But
Well,
to get us back
Chris,
in
what-
some sort of
But
normalcy-
Chris, what happens if like 50 people show up? We have to actually then turn them away? Isn't that what the problem that districts that have tried to have meetings held in the public?
Yeah, and that's why you would have to have it as a hybrid, and there are districts that do that. And you would have to have public access through Zoom because yes, the 26th person gets turned away from a public meeting, which is awkward. So
Yeah, I
you
don't
have
see
to-
anything wrong with just keeping them Zoom until we, can have more people in the room.
Yeah.
I
It's
disagree
it's
with
gonna
you,
stay
Jill.
Zoom. It's a question of whether you also do it in person.
We need to show, if we can get our students back and our teachers in the building, I think if we got together, it would show something very positive.
And I think once all of our kids are back in the building, that's the right time for us to be in the building.
Yes.
I feel
agreed.
that if some children,
Not now.
until after all of our kids are in,
But it's
I
fine for our
think-
teachers to be there, but not us.
I want Mr. Dunn on this one. We have to get the kids back in, especially the elementary, the special ed, and the kids that just have to be there, okay? That have
Absolutely. And the,
problems,
Well, this is
okay?
not
We're
about getting
doing
the
that.
kids back in. This is about our committee meetings.
yeah, I
No,
mean,
it's
we're,
not having a regular meeting. We can have a regular meeting in the administration. You know, I think we need to show some normalcy. I think,
There
you
is
know,
not enough room in the administration conference room for all of us, plus administration, plus anybody else and like Dave said, you need somebody on a camera.
But we
Jill,
could social
Jill.
distance in the TV studio. I think getting
In the
back to
TV
normal-
studio, maybe, but you're definitely not, you can't be 6 feet apart in the administration conference
No,
room.
but let's
Jill,
host it
let's
in the
set a
TV
date,
studio.
Jill, let's
That's
set
all.
a date, let's say.
set a
the
date,
Christmas
let's do
one
it. I think
in
if we can
December.
have our teachers
Set
back
it
in the
up, we'll do
building
it
every
all
day, we can
auditorium.
be together.
so I would
I
say,
was
I
just asking about the
absolutely,
committees.
I
Yeah,
agree with
I-
Matt and Rich on this.
so the one thing we need to investigate, I do not think having it, our Tuesday meeting in the TV studio is the appropriate place, because
Not yet,
children
not
will
yet.
the students will use that the next day as a classroom, and we need to give
Right.
at least 12 hours for doing it. So I'll take that. We're making this through November as virtual because we have greater participation, and we'll look at December, because that come December, all of our students will be back, and then we'll be able to have our meetings. So we'll shoot for December.
Thank you.
And I think we
Agreed.
need to do committees via Zoom for now. Because I don't know how many will show up for it.
You're putting me on a spot here, but I was planning on one probably somewhere around December, right before the holidays or right after the holidays.
All right.
In a Zoom form, in a Zoom
Yeah, and we'll work out a procedure. We'll work
Just
out,
talk.
we'll work with Joanne on how to set
Yeah.
them up and how we can get those all going.
We have no idea what the numbers are gonna be like in December. We can't, things change on the daily. I mean, we have no idea what December is gonna look like.
Right. So that's going to be our goal.
And just one other point about having meetings where you have members of the public, that will require that those rooms that are used, especially if they're rooms in the school, they'll have to be sanitized after the meeting before the kids get in the next day. And again, that's a problem. Definitely a
Joe, how
problem.
about the auditorium?
Auditorium is worse. No, the auditorium is the worst place in the building because it's all carpet.
I understand, okay.
The
So
seats
we'll work on a
cushioned.
solution. We'll work on a solution. All right, we're moving on. Next on the agenda, anybody has any questions on curriculum professional development? There's 1 through 3. Any questions, comments on any of this? Okay. Next, athletics. Right now, we don't have anything. Not sure if we'll have more next week, but it does. Next, finance. There's a total of 19, but tonight have a motion to vote on items 1 through 3. If I could have a motion for 1 through 3.
Madam President, Mr. Dunn will make a motion, finance items 1 through 3.
Thank you,
And
Mr.
to a
Dunn.
second.
Mrs. Lent, thank you. And any questions, comments?
Well, let me just say this on item number 2, the digital divide grant. We're reallocating the money again because Trish Barrett was able to secure a grant for about $50,000 or $60,000 to cover the cost of the internet that was being provided to people in their homes. So that enabled us to move more money down to the purchase of student devices. So shout out to Trish Barrett.
Great. Fantastic. All right, thank you. Anybody else? All right, if not, can we have a roll call, please, Mr. Mara?
Mr. Giordano,
Yes.
Ms. Lent,
Yes.
Mr. Sulikowski,
Yes.
Ms. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Callie,
Yes.
Mr. Caro,
Yes.
Mr. DePrima,
Yes.
Mr. Dunn,
Yes.
Ms. Ellis Foster.
Yes.
Resolutions 1 through 3 pass.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments on the remainder items? 4 through 19? No? Okay. I wasn't sure if I heard somebody. Okay, moving on, right? Yes? Oh, I must be hearing feedback. I'm sorry. Okay, right now there is nothing for non-certificated personnel office or non-certificated personnel operational. I don't know, Dr. Hoker, if you anticipate anything?
Not at this moment.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on to non-certificated personnel other, we do have,
Yes,
two
I
things.
believe we have one retirement in this area. Yeah, 30 years of service. I'll go over it next week.
right,
Okay.
you're gonna have a couple next week, so get your pen
I
ready.
understand. I understand. Maybe a couple more after that.
All right, thank you. All right, so we do need, I do need a motion on 1 and 2 for this evening, please, if anybody would like to.
Callie will move.
Thank you, Mrs. Callie. Can I have a second?
Burns will second.
Uh,
Burns.
Burns? Okay, thank you, sorry. I have to, thank you, Mrs. Burns. All right, any questions or comments on 1 and 2? No? All right, thank you. Could we have a roll call, Mr. Mayor, please?
Ms. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Callie,
Yes.
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. DePrima,
Yes.
Mr. Dunn,
Yes.
Mr. Giordano,
Yes.
Ms. Lent,
Yes.
Mr. Sulikowski,
Yes.
Ms. Alice Foster.
Yes,
Resolutions 1 and 2 pass.
thank you. Anybody have any questions or comments on 1 through 8? We do have a retirement we'll take note of. Okay, moving on to certificated personnel. Again, we have items 1 and 2 for this evening. If I can have a motion, please.
Dunn will move certificated personnel, items 1 and 2, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. Can I have a second?
I'll
Lent will
second.
second.
Okay, I got Mrs. Lent this time.
Sorry, who was that? Kelly?
Lent.
Ms. Lent?
Yes,
Yes.
that's what I got.
Thank you.
Any questions? 1 and 2? No? We can have a roll call, please, Mr. Mara.
Ms. DeCaro,
Yes.
Mr. DePrima,
Yes.
Mr. Dunn,
Yes.
Mr. Giordano,
Yes.
Ms. Lent,
Yes.
Mr. Sulikowski,
Yes.
Ms. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Callie,
Yes.
Ms. Alice Foster.
Yes,
Resolution 1 and 2 pass.
thank you. Any other questions on the remaining 3 through 25 items? It's a little long. Nope. All right. Which brings us to non-certificated personnel transportation. Any questions or comments? Brings us to supplies, equipment, and services. For this evening, we have 1 motion, 1 item to approve. If I could have a motion on number 1, please.
Carol, a motion?
Thank you, Mrs.
Lent
DeCara.
will second.
And Mrs. Lent, second, thank you. And so this is, again, to upgrade our internal Wi-Fi to 10G. So hopefully being able to support all the live streaming.
Yes.
Okay. And once we do this, it's relatively quick that it takes, right? There's no hard wiring that needs to be done for this, is that correct?
No, it may be done already, or
It
it
is.
could be
Already
done
done.
shortly.
It's already done.
It's
Oh.
done, yes.
Well, we should send out that check. Okay, great. All right, great. Thank you. Anybody else? Any comments? Nope. Then, Mr. Mayor, if I can have a roll call, please.
Mr. Dunn,
Yes.
Mr. Giordano,
Yes.
Ms. Lent,
Yes.
Mr. Sulikowski,
Yes.
Ms. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Callie,
Yes.
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. DePrima,
Yes.
Ms. Ellis Foster.
Yes.
Resolution 1 passes.
And for next week, we have 2 and 3. Mr. Mayor, do we expect anything on number 2, or is that just?
No, there is a bid that we're opening this week. One of the subcontractors decided they didn't want to, it's just one route. So we had to go out to bid for it.
Okay, great, thank you. Then for next week, transportation 1, 2, 3. Does anybody have any questions, comments? No. And then on to miscellaneous. I would just ask anybody if it looks like you were not on any of those meetings, just shoot me an email or Joanna will fix them up. Any questions, anybody on any of the miscellaneous items? Nope. And right now we have nothing for board secretary or board business. I don't know, Mr. Mayor, do you expect anything there?
No, I do not expect anything.
All right. Well, then that is agenda. Now we will open it up again to the hearing of residents on any agenda item. I'm sorry, apologize, any district item. So if you're on Zoom, if you just raise the hand icon, I can unmute you. If you're on the phone, you just have to hit *9 and we can unmute you. So let's just give it a second. Anybody have any comments? All right. Okay, right now I don't see anybody. I'll give it another second. I don't see anybody raising their hand. And I don't see anybody on the phone. Okay, well, I don't see anything. Anyone from the public with any comments? So at this point, I will close the public portion. And now we're on to old business. Do we have any old business? Take my time. New business. Okay, I have 2 items. I had 2 notes. Oh, just 2 items. One for the board. If check your email today, I did notice I did receive an email about we've been registered for the New Jersey School Board virtual workshop. Certainly not as much fun as going to Atlantic City, but they have a lot of great things for us. I noticed it went to my personal email, but in my board email, it went into the clutter mailbox, and it will be from NJ School Board. So if you just keep your eye open for that. I'll reach out also to Marianne if she recommends anything that we should go to. And I'm sure we'll all get emails between now and I think it's like around the 24th that the convention is on things. As well as I know there's probably a couple people, it might just be Mrs. Burns and Mr. Giordano have required training as a board member, so that you should be getting some information on that. You'll have some time to do that one. And then my other update really is just a reminder to the public that we still do have our night school on Mondays through Thursdays. If there's any questions that you have, the teachers will be available to talk to you at every grade level between K through 8. So that's out there. All that kind of information on any of that is out on the district site under the re-entry page where there's lots of stuff. So there is the list there and the links there. So that's just something I don't want to remind people is available. So anybody else? Because I believe we do not have executive session. Is that correct, Mr. Borton?
That is correct. No exec. Sorry, Sal.
Okay.
I
Mr. Giordano.
have a reputation.
Mr. Giordano, do you
Yes.
want some?
Yes, fittingly, today is the last day to register to vote in the state of New Jersey. So I encourage everyone in Old Bridge who hasn't registered to register now. You still have about 4 hours left to do that. And yes, we do have to return to normalcy as soon as possible. As people could see, our humanity and many of our civil liberties are being diminished. And if we don't return soon, some of those may never be returned. So once again, get out and vote, make your voice heard. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. DePrima, is that a hand or you just, I wasn't sure if that was a hand
Oh,
up?
no, I was scratching my head.
Okay,
The scratch.
okay. Anyone else? Just trying to see everybody. You got a hand raised. Anything? Mrs. Lent? I'm seeing if people are unmuting, so. Oh, you didn't unmute. You're just right near my arrow. All right. All right. So, I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank our teachers, our paras, the bus drivers, the administration, our food service, everybody. I know it was great to get or start getting back. We know that there's been, little hiccups along the way. That's why we were doing this staggered. I know, I've gotten a few emails. I've tried to reply to all of them. So as Mr. Cittadino said, the reentry committee is dedicated to looking at everything and seeing what do we have to change. I know I saw pictures of the kids just so excited to be back. So hopefully we'll just continue to add to that and we'll see more kids back next week and then the following week. And, we can do this safely, protect everybody and, be able to actually see each other. So thank you, everybody. This has been a pretty record time meeting. So I thank everybody. Again, use your resources, talk to your teachers. Thank you everybody for, working together on this and everyone have a great evening.
We need a motion,
Oh,
Kelly.
you know what? It hasn't happened so quickly before. I got a little out of whack. Can we have a motion to close the meeting?
Lent will move it.
Mrs. Lent, thank you. Can I have a second?
Carol, a second.
To Carol.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Abstention? Sal? Okay,
Absolutely, yes.
okay, so
I think he's just on
Good night.
delay.
Oh, I'm just getting my papers together.
Yeah, that was just a delayed aye. He said it after or came through after.
Good night, everyone.
All right. Good night, everyone. Wear a
Bye.
mask. Thank you.
Take care.
Good
Night.